Sometime today. There we go. All right, we're live. We are live. Yep. All right, and we are going to be recording right.
It's so loud.
Yes. Right now.
Right meow.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back.
I'm going to try and be as quiet as possible, but I'm going to lean back right now.
Okay. Oh, you're full relaxed.
Full relaxed.
This new setup's working for you, Dan.
I like it.
Yeah?
Just need a little more WD-40 so I can lean up, lean back, lean up.
I can't believe you don't have any in your backpack.
I know, I should. That backpack's got everything.
It really does. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the greatest podcast to exist in the history of podcasts. It's the internationally acclaimed, Cindy Crawford approved podcast of hops, high fives,
and lean back.
and friendship. Dan's hitting us with that lean back.
Lean back.
Yeah. If you were around in the early 2000s, that was a song to a Fat Joe?
Fat Joe?
Or Big Pun?
I think it was both.
It might have been both. I think it was Terror Squad.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah. Something like that.
Someone will correct us.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I am your host, the crispiest of boys, the king of the butt rock. Click, boom! Tom.
That's awesome. And I'm your other host, the Hop Master General, the Royersford Rattlesnake. I know you don't have a beer can over there. You can just throw that tiny little massage water bottle at me. Hell yeah. It's Dan.
All right, everybody. And we're going to keep this train going.
Keep the butt rock train going?
We have to. I feel like we have to.
I mean, you found gold right here.
Yeah, this is pretty.
As soon as you started playing it, I was like, God, is this Alter Bridge?
Well, spoiler alert, it is. And we are the best friends podcast in the world.
I didn't spoil anything. It is pivotal butt rock.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah, it's just like chef's kiss butt rock.
It's like Creed was like, let's branch off from Scott Stapp. Let's really branch off and try something new for a side project. And then they were like, all right, we got this band together. What should we do? Creed 2.0? Creed 2.0.
I know. It's
yeah.
I feel like he sang that song with his shirt unbuttoned, just like Scott Stapp.
With somebody holding a fan in front of him.
Oh, totally.
So he's doing with his shirt blowing.
His shirt blowing. Not as bad as Nickelback. I'd say it's up there though.
Yeah, it was like, can we make we're Creed's a, I don't know, inspirational rock band or are they full Christian rock band?
I don't know, probably inspirational, I'd say.
And they were like, well, let's knock this inspirational and go full Christian.
Yeah, and then like Nickelback they were like the bad boys.
Yeah. Well, as bad of a boy as you can be when you're Canadian.
I know. We're bad, don't you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're gonna wreck your hotel room. Ooh, sorry about that.
Ooh, sorry.
Sorry.
Ooh,
sorry. Let us clean up here. Ooh, so don't let it. No. You get out. We'll take care of this. Have some Tim Hortons.
Really good coffee there, by the way.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. It's gone downhill since they became like
InBev.
Yeah.
AB InBev take them over. Like that. They went all Goose Island.
Well, Chris White. Is that where you got it from?
Yeah, I was watching the chat.
It's not bad though. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. We're gonna go a little lighter in this episode. We're not gonna go. I mean, I felt. Did you feel like there wasn't enough curmudgeon last week?
I feel like he's turned a new leaf.
He just seems
last week's guest
toned down.
Yeah, I mean, could be the drugs.
Could be. It could be like he just could.
Were you just not angry enough after it?
No. Usually after an episode with Ethan, I'm like shaking with anger. I'm like,
you get one Stickman episode in and you just hate the craft beer community. And I just read the comments you leave on people's pages. But you were actually pretty tame after that. Yeah,
I didn't feel tense or angry. Yeah. My blood pressure stayed at a nice level.
Now I feel like we're about to go into what I like to call a 12-ounce episode.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's gonna be nice. We're not cracking the tall boys this time around.
No. Well, maybe.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but we're split skis on the tall boy if we do.
Okay, so yeah, still light, light.
Yeah. So we are going to venture back into the old
dirty jers.
But before we do,
yeah, let's talk about some housekeeping here, guys. As always, subscribe, rate, and review, or follow, rate, and review, whatever you use for your podcast platform.
Whatever.
Give us a follow. That's when you know when the episodes drop. Tom, spoiler alert, it's Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
I took your line.
Yeah.
And guys, so we dropped the audio on Wednesday. If you're joining us on a stream tonight, cheers. Thank you guys for joining us. Always rate and review. That helps us to show up better. We were the number one, food and beverage podcast in Ghana.
Thank you,
Ghana. But now we're number 9. So, guys, help us to show up better in Ghana. We need to be number 1 again.
We need to start like dropping pamphlets in Ghana.
Well, like an airdrop.
Yeah. Yeah. Like warning
pamphlets.
people, like make people think we're going to carpet bomb the place, but then they're like, craft beer podcast. I don't even know what.
Just see one of those like military transport planes come over. It's just pamphlets with our faces on them.
They're like, oh no. What craft beer podcast?
Number 1, baby.
What the hell is this?
And as always, we'll talk about our partnership with the Hopped Up Network. Hopped Up Network is an ever-growing group of independent beer podcasts. You can check them all out on their Instagram at Hopped Up Network and their website at hoppedupnetwork.com. I just dropped off some Hopped Up Network gear for Tom over here.
Yeah, I know. I should have put it on and shilled hard.
I know. You should have just went full sponsor on it.
Yeah. Dan covered up some of his meth sticker.
It's method.
Meth.
Come on, we're talking Jersey. I can't.
Well, you can't really see it on his camera now, but at the bottom he has ME, and at the top he still has TH. So meth is still there on his.
It's Method Man, all right.
Right, sure. Whatever you need to tell yourself, meth boy.
All right.
I guess we should start talking about this at the top of the podcast instead of the end, because more people listen at the beginning than they do at the end. We're live on Facebook Live, YouTube, and
just read the screen,
Twitch.
Tom. There you go.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, we're live on all 3. You can hop in the stream with us. You can ask questions for the brewers that we're talking to.
You can confess your love of Nickelback to us, or slash with Miles Kennedy, whatever you're into.
Whatever you're into, man.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah. Talk with us. Talk with the brewers.
Yeah, ask questions.
We're all about the audience participation.
Definitely. It makes our job easier because sometimes we just blank.
Yeah.
We're not professionals.
We're not. Never claimed to be.
Never did.
All right, let's get our guest in here.
Yeah, let's get him on here. We're getting thirsty.
So like we mentioned, we're going back to the old Pork Roll Central. Pork roll.
Taylor ham.
Pork roll.
Taylor ham.
Pork Roll Central. We're going to the Dirty Jers. A staple in, Dan and I are Jersey Shore, the proper Jersey Shore guys. None of that.
Yeah, we're south.
None of that greasy, dirty northern Jersey Shore that you see on TV. The proper Irish Delco trash Jersey Shore. Just a bunch of Irish and Italians
getting sunburnt.
Yeah, just a lot of sunburn,
a lot of lobsters down there.
A lot of high SPF. A lot of high SPF. Already
getting the chat.
Not even 10 minutes in, Farkas is throwing a wrench in here. How is that? I hope you're being sarcastic, because I wear this on so many podcasts.
He hasn't watched us in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's bring our guest on.
All right. So he's the owner and brewer of Slack Tide Brewing Company in, I guess they're technically Cape May County.
Cape May County, yeah.
It's Sea Isle to me. It's Sea Isle. The whole area is Sea Isle.
That's all you.
Yeah.
That's all you see when you're driving down Sea Isle.
What part of Sea Isle? Hey, go down to Gleason's, bang a left on 9, and then go a little ways down. Make I think it's your second right. Down a little bit. You'll see Slack Tide.
What was that sound?
It's a little venture sound. All right. So Jason Campbell from Slack Tide Brewing Company.
Let's bring him on.
All right.
Hey
Hey,
guys, how you doing? Hey, just for clarification purposes, my brother is the brewer, but I started out as the brewer. But anyway, it's all good. It's a team effort here, so
yeah, team
it's
effort.
no big deal.
All right. So,
Yeah, I didn't know which one I was going to get in the picture because I was like, which one's
Yeah.
Jason?
Yes, sorry, I don't have very many solo shots.
It's all good. I was like, it was going to be a surprise for me when we brought you on the stream. I'm like, I wonder which one we're going to get.
all right. So thank you for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me.
We're definitely going to get into some tasty beers here
Tasty beverages. We've actually talked about these beers before
on our first
test stream of our new platform here.
Yeah.
It was right after your vacation,
Yep.
so we got down on some Jersey Shore beers.
Dan got so frustrated when I was on vacation, and he had to set up the stream that he was like, "Screw this! I'm paying for this new service."
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Cool. So let's get. Jesus God, Farkas it's just 10 minutes, and he's
Ryan from he's scrubbing his cheeks, and he's
He
gonna
said
come join us again.
Yep.
All right.
Are you familiar with Warwick Farm Brewing, Jason?
No,
Okay.
but that's not that unusual. Because there's a lot of breweries that keep cropping up. So no, I'm not. But
they're probably one of the bigger breweries in this area right now in southeastern Pennsylvania. And Ryan likes to
hop on and talk to us while we're in the chat. And
now I said Daddy's going to scrub his cheeks in the shower and then wash. Thanks, Ryan.
he'll be back on to ask
right.
questions. But yeah, let's get back to Slack Tide.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna dive into some Slack Tide beers, and then we'll talk about the goings on at the brewery. And you have a lot of stuff going on, so let's get into it so we can start talking about everything.
Definitely. And before we crack that first beer, I guess we should talk about it.
No.
And I swear one day I'll update all of Untapped for this. But guys, again,
I like the boo.
One more
cesspool of the craft beer.
One more time, Tom. Here we go.
Go ahead.
Untapped.
All right.
That's good. That's very good.
All right, guys. So we are almost caught up. We're just a few episodes behind. But if you want to check out the beers we have on the podcast, go follow us on Untapped. That's Best Friends Pod. That's Best Friends POD.
POD. Jason, you familiar with the band POD?
Actually, I am a little bit.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, sweet.
So you are going to get much more.
So no blank stares from the Brewers. We play POD. Oh yeah. It's great when the people are like, no, and then we play it, and we're just rocking out over here, and they're just like, oh, what?
One of the things I can say about the brewery over here is there's between my brother and the guys in the back and the sales team, we have an incredibly eclectic music mix. So we hear POD, all kinds of 90s rap, new age alternative.
I love it.
EDM, like everything. It's crazy. So
oh man,
we hear all kinds of stuff.
All right. Awesome. So let's I'll go grab the first beer if you want to pull it up and talk about it here.
So we're gonna start off with Headboat here, and I'm gonna bring up your Untapped page and we can take a look. Let's see what's going on. Let's see here.
Tom, you know what we forgot to mention?
What's that?
We forgot to mention about the crack in the unison.
No, we didn't. We talked about it.
Oh, I heard a crack over there.
No. Oh no.
I think man.
Did you
That might have been me.
Jason?
I'm a little thirsty.
It's all right. It's all right.
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll get through
I'll wait though. I'll wait to pour it.
All right. Let's see.
You got it up?
I'm bringing it up here. It's not wanting to
I
work
got
with me here.
I got you, dog.
Why is it not coming up? Headboat.
Headboat. It's 2 words.
I did put in 2 words.
I got it.
Man, See, I try and take over one thing. All right, Dan.
I'll pull it up for you guys.
Yeah.
Here, so
Pick me up here.
I got you.
All right. There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, so we were doing Headboat, Hellas Lager. beer style that is near and dear to our hearts here over at the podcast. So,
Oh, yeah.
I got it. The name's so hot, too. Headboat is the first beer in our classic beer series. This German-style lager is made with European malts and hops. Straw-colored lager is easy drinking, slightly malty, and finishes clean on the palate. We've got 3.69 right here on Untapped, 4.9% ABV. So low ABV party for this episode.
I like it.
All right, Tom, you ready to do a crack in unison?
Yes, I am.
Hold up. I'll get rid of that.
There you go. We'll bring it back here. Yep.
There we go.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Ooh.
You could just do that. It's okay, Jason.
All right. Let's give her a little pour here. All right. So is this like kind of a staple beer for you? Is this one that's like a year long?
It's a year-round beer. Basically, Headboat was one of the beers that we brewed to have as broad an appeal as possible. Okay. So basically, when you open a brewery and you have a brewery, you want to have we at least try to have a very broad selection of beers. IPAs tend to rule the day in today's day and age for the most part.
Yep.
We try to have a broad enough selection. We have, we usually have 2 stouts, a couple of Belgians, a couple of German style beers, and then occasionally we'll do an English beer, and then obviously the IPAs. But Headboat kind of started out as being the beer that we use to convert the Miller Lite, Coors Light drinkers that come into the brewery. And it actually works out pretty well that way. It is a traditional German style beer. It's light in color. It's lagered. So it has a long aging time, and it goes through a decoction mash and some other things like that. And it's our sort of the most, we usually use the word, the most approachable beer we have on our menu.
I don't know. We might lose viewers. It's a clear beer.
Yeah, it's a clear beer. Yeah.
See through.
It's the most approachable beer we have on our menu. It does have a very steady following, but it's a good beer. Sometimes we joke around that it's beer flavored beer, but German beers tend to be pretty pure. Like, they are what they are. They're not going to overhop it and do things like we do over here. But it's a crisp beer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a sip.
Actually, cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah. It's our entry beer. So we usually get people hooked on that, and then they move on to other things like our Belgian, and eventually they wind up with the IPA or a triple or something like that at the end of the day. But that's what it was originally released for. It is one of our flagships. It's available all year round. It's going to be available in Pennsylvania coming soon. We just signed on with the distributor in last month. So it's one of the beers that will be coming out. But lagers tend to be they tend to have a very large audience. So you get people that drink Yingling, people that drink Miller Lite, people that drink these other sort of lighter beers. That's what this beer is designed to kind of compete, or not compete with, but play with the space it hangs out in.
So, I mean, you guys are located kind of in between Cape May and Sea Isle City.
Right. We're basically we're on the mainland between Avalon and Sea Isle City.
Okay.
So the easiest reference to use for people is we're between exit 13 and 17 off the Parkway. That's the best way to do it. But we're the northern part of Cape May County near Dennis. We're in Dennis Township, which is the only other county that's north of us is Upper Town, or township that's north of us is Upper. But yeah, we're basically on the mainland from Sea Isle. That's an accurate.
Yeah. So I think it was like an 8-minute drive from my beach house when I went up there, and it was. I mean, I would say you're getting a majority of people coming from Sea Isle, I would assume.
We actually have a pretty interesting mix. We get a lot of folks from Avalon. We get a lot of folks from Sea Isle. But one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, because you can't see it, is there are about 1,300 campsites within 2 miles.
Oh yeah,
of the brewery. So we get a lot of campers. We get a lot of people who a lot of people also don't know this, that there's 10 breweries in Cape May County, along with 2 distilleries and 6 wineries. So there are a lot of opportunities to drink in Cape May County. So we do get a lot of people that come down and do the sort of the tour for the day, or they come down for the weekend. They're staying in Cape May or they're staying in Wildwood, and they hit, a bunch of us while they're down here. And the one thing that is pretty cool is all the breweries in Cape May County are open year round. A lot of people don't know that. Like, a lot of the places here close in the winter because the obviously the population shifts back up to you guys. But pretty much all of the breweries are open. Maybe not every day, but they're open year round, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome. And I just going back to like Headboat and what you mentioned, you're getting a lot of Avalon, you're getting a lot of Sea Isle, like people coming into the brewery, especially over the summer. Like a beer like Headboat is a good introductory beer to have for those vacationers
that's
who are
what
like,
I was getting at there.
like the non-craft beer drinkers who are looking for something that is as close to that, like you said, that Miller or that, that American lager.
Because I mean, if you're walking off the beach, you look in the trash cans right by the exits there. It's all Miller Lite and Coors Light and Mick Ultra.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is if I asked one question in the tasting room more than anything else, well, I shouldn't say that. That's not actually true. We're asked quite often, what's the closest thing you have to Miller Lite, or the closest thing you have to Yingling, or the closest thing you have to this? There are people who want to learn craft beer. They want to get into it, but they don't want to, like, all of a sudden jump in and drink a West Coast IPA and have their palate, like, burned out. They want to kind of ease into it a little bit. Or a lot of times you'll get, a husband or a wife who drinks the craft. One or the other drinks the craft, the other one doesn't. And they, that's what they kind of settle in on. The other thing too with Headboat in the summertime, you kind of hit the nail on the head, is it's a light drinking beer. So if you're going to take it to the beach, you're going to be able to drink it all day because it's only 4%. If you're drinking a Angry Osprey or, a Knockdown, one of our higher ABV IPAs, you might get through 2 or 3 of them and then fall asleep on the beach.
So you wouldn't recommend drinking a crowler of a 12% Imperial Stout on the beach?
Oh, Tom.
No, I would suggest, this is a judgment-free zone. I would suggest that you drink whatever you want on the beach. I just know that people tend to gravitate towards the lighter beers.
Let me rephrase that. I recommend that you don't. From experience, I don't recommend that.
I could feel you being sluggish via text message. Like, I could tell that you were just like bloated. Like, I was calling you the bloated walrus on the beach because you had that Imperial Stout. You're like, I can't believe I'm drinking this on the beach.
So two summers ago, I got a crowler of a 12% Imperial Stout from one of your neighbors, and
Dennis Township too.
Are they? No, I don't. Are they
Billy from Ludlam?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Dennis Township.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget what it's called. I always want to call it the Armadillo. Their Imperial Stout. I got
Amontillado.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
And this guy drank it on the beach.
Yep. Took it all to the head. It was the wrong kind of sweats.
You ever see like the Discovery Channel when like a walrus rolls over and just starts slapping its belly with its flippers?
You ever see the end of Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman, when
Danny DeVito's just floating?
Danny DeVito's the penguin?
Yeah,
he's just floating down the water.
And his black blood is coming out. That was me, except the sweat. The blood was
just had birds landing on him.
Yeah, it's stout pouring out of my pores.
Yeah, that's a pretty heavy hitter. That's a pretty heavy. It's a good beer though.
It's delicious.
Guys up at Ludlam do a really good job.
Oh yeah, we're huge fans, and I mean, completely opposite of that stout experience. Headboat right here would be probably the ideal thing you should have chosen for that.
In the summertime, I have 2 go-tos on the beach: Headboat, and we have a session IPA that we usually release around the middle of April, like right around Easter, and it runs through until early September, called Sand Spike, and it's a session IPA, super crushable.
I believe I drank that at the brewery.
Yeah, those are the 2 beers I take to the beach.
Because I remember at the brewery I had Headboat because I walked in. I'm a lager guy, so I walked in, as soon as I saw Helles Lager on the menu, I was like, that's what I'm getting. My wife's like, I need some time to choose. I'm I'm like, she's like, do you know what you want? I was like, well, yeah, there's a lager on the menu.
That's like that's the intro to any new brewery. You got to go in, you got to get the clear beer. You got to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the cool things too, as a brewery owner and being dialed into the whole brewing community, one of the things that my brother and I are pretty excited about is that some of these lesser, I don't want to say lesser known, but more like OG styles of beer, like lager, West Coast IPA, Czech Pilsner. Some of these beers are making a comeback, which they kind of disappeared for a long time and got drowned out, and now they're coming back, and they're great beers. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just not hop bombs. So it is what it is, and we're kind of stoked that the whole brewing community has started to embrace these. I don't want to call them older. Well, they're older styles, but has kind of embraced the lagers and the Czech Pilsners, the Kolsch's, a lot of Kolsch's out there now.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So
yeah, I feel like the craft beer nerds over the pandemic just ran out of books.
They got burnt out.
So they picked up the BJCP and started reading it, and then all of a sudden they wanted everything that was listed there. They wanted the German styles, like you said, the Czech dark.
Well, they realized that everything didn't have to be brewed with Citra Mosaic and super juicy,
right?
Triple dry hopped.
They learned that there's a different kind of hops called noble hops.
Yeah,
or the old world hops. It's not just noble, but it's all those old world hops. And the interesting thing is a lot of those beers, are clear, like you guys have said. You're not going to walk into other than Hefeweizen or a German style Hef is going to be hazy, but a lot of those beers are going to be clear. But they're very crisp. They're flavorful. And when you get one that's produced by a craft brewery, they're not filtered. They're not they're not like Miller Lite where they take most of the flavor out. It still has the flavor of the yeast, the flavor of the hops, and that to us as a craft brewer is important. It's part of the art of it, is being able to layer those flavors and make them taste appealing to a broad audience.
Yeah, and you even have stuff like now we're in the season of the Fest beers and Marzens and Dunkels.
The multi-season. I see you guys have the Slacktoberfest. I was just going through all of your rotational beers, and that Slacktoberfest caught my eye.
And the Slacktoberfest is probably it's probably our best seasonal selling beer. Like, we only produced it from it's only basically available in September and October, but it's really good. It's a super easy to drink beer, and it's a traditional German style Marzen. We have another beer that we released in March for St. Patrick's Day, which is a traditional Irish red ale that also goes sells out really quick. But it's that kind of stuff. It's being able to dial into those I don't want to call them off styles, but more traditional styles that people kind of gravitate away from.
Like the old guard of
yeah. I mean, that's why we call it the classic series. So in the classic series, there's the Headboat Helles Lager, there's a Hefeweizen, there's a traditional just brown ale, which is kind of like a porter, almost like an English. Well, it's not like an English mild, but it's just a traditional brown ale, and it's really good, and people love it. And then they'll go from that to something crazy like our Countercurrent or our Stinger Hook or one of our New Englands that we have that comes out all the time. But it's having that diversity, I think, that's really important, because you have a broad, like, everybody likes ice cream, right? Most people like ice cream. Well, that's why they make like chocolate, vanilla, coffee, strawberry. There's all these different flavors. That's the reason, is everybody's palates are a little different. So you kind of have to be able to be good at, you have to be able to make all different styles of beer. And that's one of the things that we take a lot of pride in.
I think one of the things that definitely stood out to me was your diverse menu. I mean,
my hand's getting tired over here rotating through his website right now. I've been just like scrolling down, scrolling up, and just finding every beer that you've mentioned. I'm like, all right, I have to scroll through like a couple of these to get to.
I was so very surprised, talking about the variety of different beers you had. I walked into the brewery, and I mean the tap room is not. I mean, it's bigger than the. I'm going to say it's not
a postage stamp. You can admit it.
It's not much bigger than our studio here.
No, it's not very big.
But then you look up at the board and you see like 16 different beers, and you're like, "Whoa, where is this coming from?" you have a decent sized brew house, and then you have a nice the nice backyard area. But there was a good amount of diversity. I mean, it's definitely IPA heavy, but you have to be in this day and age. But you had the Helles on. You had, I think it was a Belgian blonde.
Yeah, our Belle Buoys are a Belgian blonde. That's our another one of our flagships. We have that all the time.
Yeah, you had the Hef. You had
we probably had a sour when you were here.
Yeah. You had the key lime goza.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really nice eclectic menu, and that always stood out to me. That there was such a good variety that I feel like anybody can really walk in there and get something that they'll enjoy.
I am just getting a cramp right now scrolling through.
Yeah, Dan. The one thing I will say is, if you're going through our website, it's listed out. Those beers, 90% of the beers on that list are on a rotation. So
yeah, I'm going through.
We have like seven. We have 7 flagships, and then the rest of them rotate through. So we do like a whole series of rotating New England IPAs. We do a series of rotating West Coast IPAs. We do 2 high gravity Belgians. We do 2 low gravity Belgians. We do several stouts. We have a milk stout out right now. We do our black IPA was just released today. So we do a lot of different beers, and it's one of the things that we always wanted to do from the beginning, because one of the things that we found out, or I found out when I would travel around and go to breweries, is some of these guys would get into a wheelhouse, and yeah, there's places that make IPAs and they're really good at it. That's great. But my wife doesn't like IPAs. So we go to a someplace to go, and you want to have something for everybody in your group. So we try to do that as much as we can. And we try to keep it as fresh as we can. Not fresh as in the beer's not old, but meaning fresh as in we keep trying to rotate the styles as much as we can. So we aren't going to introduce too many new beers because we're getting ready to go through a big expansion, but we are going to rotate the ones that we currently do.
And that's awesome. And Tom, I just want to say, the one thing I hate about doing like Jersey breweries is how much I want to have these beers, and knowing that I have to travel.
Just gotta take a day trip.
I know, it's like, man, I want to go on a day trip now. I'm like going through all the beers that you like, your current tap list, as well as like what you have currently available, and it's great. And you guys are still practicing like a good diversity right here, which is awesome. I mean, I'm seeing a West Coast double IPA that I'm just drooling over right now.
Dan, we can tell our wives that we have to do this for research.
Oh yeah, research purposes.
We can go down, hit Slack Tide, Ludlam, hit Cape May.
Oh, I know.
Mudhen, we could do it all.
Oh, it'd be so tired on the way home. It'd be so worth it.
So worth it.
And Dan, to your point, one of the things that's pretty cool, like I mentioned earlier, is that we did just sign on with 31st and Wharton, and we are going to start distributing mainly our flagships for at least initially until we get our expansion completed into Pennsylvania. So you won't have to necessarily drive all the way down here to get. You'll have to drive down here to get some of the specialty beers, but our flagships will be available in Pennsylvania on a limited basis until we get our expansion complete.
Okay. So I know right now you're distributed in Pennsylvania with kegs, correct?
Yes. The next order will have some cans in it. That'll be sometime around November.
Okay, cool. I'm very much looking forward to that.
That's awesome. So with like the keg distribution, that's like getting into like, I guess like gastropubs and restaurants out here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we actually have a launch event tomorrow night at Stingers on the waterfront in Ridley Park.
Oh, nice.
And then we have another one next Wednesday night at Bridget Foy's. I think it's on South Street, in Philadelphia. 31st and Wharton does a good job for us with getting us in front of the right people and what we're supposed to do, and how we get our beer out there. But eventually, when we move to the new facility, you guys have been here before, but our new facility is going to be about 3 times the size of our current one. So we'll be able to produce a lot more beer, which will be easier for us to get stuff into Pennsylvania. But right now, we're going to be available on a limited basis, especially this time of year. In the summertime, all bets are off because it just becomes bedlam down here, and we got to make sure we're able to support our locals too.
Got to batten down the hatches there in the summer.
Pretty much, man. It's like the pygmies on the beach waiting for the tsunami when Memorial Day rolls around.
Just a bunch of accents going down there.
But anyway, we're really excited about being able to be in PA. We have a lot of customers from PA who come down here, who have been asking us for a while to do that, and we're thrilled to be able to do it. So.
You love to hear it. You love to hear it about Pennsylvania. Like people, like breweries who just want to be in Pennsylvania. It makes us so happy. And we've been hearing recently over the last couple months, you have like Other Half is coming into Pennsylvania. Out west, Aslan is going to Pittsburgh now, and like all of these like other breweries that kind of border Pennsylvania and are seeing the value in kind of opening up like a tap house or opening up distribution and getting shipping into here as well. So just love to see it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things as a brewer that we appreciate is guys like you and other people who are fans of craft beer. I mean, not everyone's a fan of craft beer, but our goal has always been from the beginning to try to not convince people, but show people that you're getting a beer that's super fresh. It's not filtered. We can tell you where all the ingredients came from. Like it's a totally different experience. And I have people who are regular customers at our brewery who were exclusively macro beer people. And when we opened, they came in and they started with Bella Booey or one of these other ones. And now they don't drink the macro anymore. So, it's one of those, I mean, I shouldn't say anymore. If you go to a sporting event, you're kind of forced to drink the macro, but it's a cool thing. And it kind of ties into a lot of other things too. Like food, if you've ever been down here, seafood's amazing down here. The produce is amazing down here.
Oh,
There's a whole like farm to table, boat to table movement that the beer kind of ties right into. And it's cool. It's cool to be part of it. And it's a lot of fun and it's really good for you. It's healthy food. So beer is not necessarily healthy for you, but who's counting?
Hey, I'm on a liquid diet like 50 Cent, so this is keeping me.
All right, Dan,
me fit.
Let's wrap up Headboat. Final thoughts.
Oh, final thoughts. I love this beer. When we brought it up on our test stream, we're huge fans of the Helles Lager here on the podcast, and we love the style. Great malt backbone on this. Like it just, like you said in the description. Perfect straw color with a nice like malty backbone on it. It drinks so light and crisp too. It's got a nice dryness to it, and you still get a lot of the floral hop character of those noble hops in there too.
Yeah. You can see there it had really nice lacing.
Which means what, Tom? Which means what?
It's a good quality beer.
Which means it had some good what?
Good head retention, which you can see right there.
Head retention.
Head all the way down to the bottom.
You said, head all the way down to the bottom, huh?
Uh-huh. It lives up to its name.
There we go. I told you we weren't going to get out of Headboat without making one joke.
Like Dan said, great straw color. Reads, drinks, everything like a classic German beer. Just a really well-rounded Helles Lager.
Thanks, guys. And just to tie in the name Headboat, because not everybody knows what a headboat is, but a headboat is a fishing boat that most of the beer, actually all the beers that we have are named after nautical or fishing themed things. So a headboat is like a party boat where you go and each person pays by the head to fish for the day.
It's like a charter,
a 4-hour thing. It's like a charter, but it's per head rather than you buy the whole boat. So that's why it's called a headboat. So it's an easy way for people to get access to the ocean and fish, and it kind of fits the name of the beer. So we went with headboat.
So it's not named after a video you would see in the back of your video rental store when you go like through the curtain, and it's like the first one you see. It's like, oh, headboat. What's that about?
It could be. I mean, it could go anywhere. But
it's not what Dante Culpepper and the Vikings got busted on in the early 2000s.
It's not that. It could be that. We have several people that call it boat head rather than head boat. That's probably more like what Dante Culpepper was involved in.
Yeah. And those are the people that come in from Sea Isle. Hey, got any more of that boat head?
Boathead. It's so Delco.
All right, let's get into our next beer.
I'm so excited for this one.
Yeah.
I really like this beer. And I'm going to get it pulled up here for you while we get this set up here.
All right, so we're going to do...
I'll wait to crack it this time.
Yes.
Oh, man, we're going to get it.
So this beer...
you could talk about it a little bit because you had a nice little story behind it.
Yeah, so when we were wrapping up at the brewery, I was like, okay, well, I have to get beer for Dan and I. I know I'm getting the Helles for sure. So I always like to mix it up, a Helles or a lager and, usually an IPA. And I forget what I was.
We do the crispy boy, hazy boy dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. I was between Slammer and Schoolie.
Mm-hmm.
I was between Slammer and Schoolie, and I didn't even say anything. I looked at the beer tender and I said, "Hey, what would you get between?" And he goes, "Slammer." And I was like,
he just cut you off. He was just like Slammer.
And I was like, well, that answers that question. I'll take the Slammer.
And that's exactly what we're going to be getting into. But before we get into it, guys, again, you guys can check out what we're going to be drinking on the podcast, what we've had on the podcast by following us on, you guessed it, Untapped. And you can follow us at Best Friends Pod. That's Best Friends POD. All right. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that too, man. We found that out on the stream before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an awesome little
they all line up.
I was like, these cars are robots. But yeah, guys, we're going to be doing Slammer, New England IPA, hazy, soft, yellow ale that offers notes of pineapple and grapefruit. If you're looking for a bright, crushable New England, this one is for you. So 6.2% ABV, a nice crushable at New England right there. And we're looking at 3.8. Oh man, it's almost hitting that 4, almost a hype beer status right there, guys, on Untapped.
All right. Justin, you don't love Untapped. We know that.
Justin loves it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get cracking on these.
Are we gonna crack? Okay,
yeah.
Guys.
3, 2, 1. Ooh, a little.
I got a little bit on my chin.
Yeah, I got a little boat head on my chin.
Can you hand me a towel, Tom?
Do you need one for real?
No, I don't. I'm joking.
It
was a joke. I was just gonna sit here on the bed waiting for you to pass me a towel.
Not my eyes.
It's in my hair. All right.
So, doesn't everybody love a nice 12-ounce can of New England IPA?
I will tell you, I am all for the 12-ounce can, like revolution for New England's. It's just, especially one as crushable as Slammer. When we first had this, I think we originally started with 1 can, and I readily made it 2 cans.
Oh yeah.
when we did this, but well, first guys, cheers.
Slancha.
Cheers.
And Dan's insulting you by drinking it out of a Ludlam Island glass.
It's okay. So but here's the funny thing. It's funny you guys mentioned the can, because the reason we put it in a 12-ounce can is because we noticed that nobody else does that. Most of the New Englands come in a 16-ounce can, which is fine, and most of ours do. But we decided for this beer that we wanted to put it in a 12-ounce can to kind of fit it into our distro model a little bit better. But at the same time, just be something that you can grab 6 and go, like you said. Like sometimes you have 1, sometimes you have 2. It's just easier. But
so much easier to throw these in a cooler and take it to the beach.
Right. And the interesting thing about this beer is that it's basically all Galaxy hops. So it's kind of like a super crushable, super juicy, like.
Super expensive to make.
Yeah, it's not cheap. But by putting it in 12-ounce cans, we get a little bit more bang for your buck, so to speak. So we're able to get more of it out there. It's an extremely popular beer. We introduced it about a year ago, and it sells like crazy. I mean, it's really smooth. I mean, the description kind of does it justice. It's pineapple notes, it's tropical fruit notes. It's only 6.2, so it's not like super high ABV. but it's one of our best selling beers. Now, in full disclosure, I am not a big New England IPA guy. I'm a more of a West Coast guy. My brother is the New England guy.
I get it.
He made this beer specifically for me because it has a tiny little bit of bite at the end of it.
Yep.
And he goes, "You got to have that pine bite, or you're not going to drink it." And I said, "Yeah, you're right, but
yeah, a good
but
mix."
I still like the clear IPAs better.
Yeah.
But that's just me."
So Ryan, from you kind of answered this already. Ryan from Warwick Farms asked what hops are in the beer. So it's primarily Galaxy.
It's like 90% Galaxy.
Okay. Is the rest Simcoe? Is that what's giving it a bitter bite?
It's Simcoe. It might even be a little bit of Citra. I'm not 100% sure what the boil hop is, but the dry hop and most of the regular hop is all Galaxy.
Don't say Citra too loud, or Ryan from Warwick might pop a little boner. He just got out of the shower.
He might have to go back.
Citra's a good hop, man.
He might still be in a towel right now. Pitching a 10 over there.
Yeah.
But the we introduced it. It's got a little bit of oats in it. It's got a little bit of wheat. I mean, it's kind of got everything that makes a New England what it is. And when we first launched it, we have another beer called the Ridge. I don't know if you've had that, but the Ridge is a New England IPA that we make that's in a 16-ounce can, and it's similar to this, but it doesn't have the same tropical notes to it because it doesn't have any Galaxy in it. But they kind of play off each other. So most people who like the Ridge, like Slammer, there's make another beer called Countercurrent, which is in New England, and that one sells about the same clip as these other ones. So it's the one New England that we make that I really like. And this is an interesting fun fact. My wife doesn't really like beer at all. But this beer she drinks all the time. So, which is good, but it's a good beer. And we've really kind of fallen back on it as being one of our staples. It's a flagship. So it'll be available all year round. And it's done really well for us.
Awesome. And I think you hit on a great point right there, talking about how your wife likes it and she's not into craft beer. I feel like the New England IPA, like as of recently, during the pandemic, people kind of looking at the can revolution and getting takeout beer and bringing it home and being introduced to craft beer. The New England IPA is kind of that gateway IPA for people who go, "Oh, I don't like IPAs. They're too bitter." Or, during the IBU wars, they had like a 60-minute. And
sure.
It was too bitter for them. And now they're like, "Oh, well, try this New England IPA." And
right.
They're like, it's a little bit, the bitterness is a little subdued. You're getting a little piney, but you're getting more of that like fruit, tropical, a little bit. I would say there's also always that like resinous, like dank feeling that you get with it. And some people it's just easier for people it's a little bit more approachable for those people who like.
Yeah. And it's funny. I had a customer in the tasting room about a week ago who came in and he was all about like, what are the IBUs in that? We don't post the IBUs on any of our beers we have them, but we don't put them on tap.
Yep. I saw that.
And I literally said to the guy, I said, listen, IBUs is just a measurement, right? Yeah. So you could have a beer with 68 IBUs and have it be in New England. And you can have a beer with 68 IBUs and have it be a West Coast, and they taste entirely different.
Exactly.
Right? So don't get so hung up on the IBU. Go by how it tastes to you. I've had IPAs with IBU as high as like 98.
Yeah.
And they don't taste bitter. They don't. It's all about the layering of the hops. It's all about the flavor of the hops. What the flavor profile of each hop throws off. Some of them throw off stone fruit. Some of them throw off pineapple. Some of them throw off pine, tropical citrus. Some of them are grassy. It just depends on the hop that's being used by the brewer. And the art of it is how you blend that all together to make it have a good flavor profile.
Yeah.
If you just pick an IPA based on its IBUs, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be disappointed. Right. You need to go in and like try it. That's why they let you make flights, man. That's why you can take like a 4-ounce beer, taste it. It's like there's no buyer's remorse. I'll even give you just a little hit off the tap, like a little half pour, and you can taste it if you like it or not.
That's That's my wife's special there.
People get very, very hung up on the whole IBU thing. IBUs are important because that's how, if you enter a competition, that's how beers are judged. All that's extremely important. But as a purveyor of craft beer, as someone who says, listen, don't get hung up on those numbers. Like, nobody walks into a brewery and goes, what's the SRM on this beer? Right? Yeah. Nobody cares what the color is. They just want to know what the IBU is, right?
It's like a guitar player's asking.
That's why we don't post
your amp.
Yeah, if I walked into a brewery and I ordered, I was like, oh yeah, give me Slam, and like, oh, it's 68 IBUs. I'd be like, okay,
yeah,
And
I feel like those are the veterans of like when IBUs were like, like I said, like the IBU wars were like the early like 2000s when you had all of those like extremely piney and resinous IPAs coming out, and people they clamored over IBUs. IBUs were just like, it was something that they had no idea what it even stood for, and they just clamored over it.
Yeah. And the other thing too is with the IBUs and everything too is that a lot of times people get confused that they think that IBU has some impact on ABV, and it doesn't. Like, IBU has nothing to do with it. So they're like, oh, the higher the IBU, the higher the ABV. No, you could have a beer with 35% IBU and be 11% alcohol. It doesn't matter. So it's kind of just educating the consumer and getting them to understand that it's not all about these numbers. Sure, if you want to go by the numbers all the time, you can, but the numbers can be those IBU numbers can be very misleading. And a lot of times people will come in and say, I don't want to drink a beer that's over 50 IBU because it's going to be too bitter. But then you have something like Slammer, which might be like 75 or 80 IBU, but it doesn't taste bitter at all. So that's why we don't put the numbers up there, so people at least try it. And then if they want to know, we'll tell them what they are. It is what it is. But it I don't want to say it's a useless measure, because it's absolutely not. But it's not something that I, as an owner of a brewery, would recommend to someone to purely pick the beer based on IBUs.
Yeah, the person that comes in and asks what the IBU is, I would recommend just telling them, look, man, you're not a Cicerone.
Yeah, just grab them by whatever scarf they wore coming in there, and just.
I don't care how many untapped badges you have.
Yeah,
right.
Just pick the one that sounds good and try it, and let me know if it tastes all right. All these people.
I love this beer.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say it right now. This when we did our test stream, and we were like, yeah, we're gonna have 2 beers, just test out the stream, talk a little bit. Like, after like downing, Headboat was just such a crisp, clean, crushable drinker, and then I just slammed Slammer too, because I had one, and then we kept talking. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna have this other one while I have it.
So, I wanted to bring this up to you, Dan. The one thing that I'm noticing. Now I picked this up at the end of August.
Yes.
Not much, if any, hop fallout.
No, not at all. I mean, in fact, I think a little bit. I think the tropical notes are a little bit more subdued, and you're getting a little bit more bitterness, which I'm actually enjoying the evolution of this beer, which makes me happy, because if I'm ever going to get Slammer, especially if it's down, like you said, you guys are going to be like distributing, and it's going to be in Philadelphia, even like from where we are location wise, I don't go to Philadelphia that often. But getting this beer, I want it to have lasting, where I'm going to enjoy it fresh, and I'm also going to enjoy it if it's been in the fridge for a little while. And I'm still this has a nice bitterness to it. Like, tropical notes are still there, a little bit more subdued, but that bitterness comes in as like a reigning champ now on this beer.
It's real big pineapple on the nose.
Yeah.
And then it's more of that like grapefruit, like tropical bitter.
Yeah. So it went from more like a little bit more grapefruity now.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of pineapple before.
Yeah, one of the things that we try to do in New Jersey, we're allowed to self-distribute, so we have a lot more control over the age of the beer and when it goes out. But one of the things we try to do is we try to keep our beer as fresh as possible, because the batches are relatively small. I mean, we only do about 150 to 180 cases of beer per batch.
Yeah.
So when we go into Pennsylvania, Slammer is one of the beers that's going to be released in PA. But we'll try to keep it again, once it goes to a distributor, you kind of lose a little bit of control.
Right.
But we will try to keep it as fresh as we can. But you make a good point. One of the things we try very hard on our end is we're all about the beer. Like you've been here before. It's not a big showy place. It's all about the beer. We have 4 guys in the back that just crank out product, and they're fanatical about quality control, about making sure that there's not a lot of issues with the canned beer, that it's canned correctly, that it closes, we don't have a lot of dissolved oxygen in it or anything like that. The one other thing that we try to do too is we try to keep our beer cold all the time. So we tell retailers if they're going to carry it, it has to be kept cold. You can't put it on a shelf. Now there are some beers, like even Headboat is one of them, that could be shelf stable.
Shelf stable, yeah. Definitely.
But any IPA, especially in New England, that has any kind of dry hop in it, as soon as it gets warm and sits on a shelf, it's going to start to degrade. So you want to keep it cold. And a lot of these places do that. And we tell folks that come from PA to go up to Jersey, like, listen, if you're driving home for the day, it's fine. Yeah. But put it in a cooler if you can. But if you're just going from like here to home, it's only an hour and a half, you're going to be all right. What you don't want to do is get the beer, go to the beach, leave it in your car all afternoon so it gets hot, and then drive home because it's going to taste like crap when you get home, right? Or it might not taste like crap, but it's not good. It's not good for the beer. So we tell people that all the time, and a lot of people really kind of dial into that and figure it out. So we're going to do our best to keep the beer as fresh as we can going into distro, into PA. But you make a good point. I mean, you bought this at the end of August or in August, and it's still pretty stable. We have another beer that we've had beers. And one of the things we've tested with our beers is we have a crowler machine in the tasting room. We'll take a crowler machine and we'll crowler almost like controls. So we'll crowler a bunch of beers and control for it. And we'll put it in a fridge in the back of the brewery, and it could sit for a year. It could sit for more than a year. We don't know how long it's back.
Okay.
And then we'll crack it and go, what's it taste like? Oh, it tastes like it was poured yesterday. Good. Oh, it got a little bit of oxidation. It's not so good. So there's ways to kind of combat that, so that we do that kind of testing on a regular.
That's
cool.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear
testing.
right there. And I know that Tom cradles his beer like a child and takes care of it. Like
this has never not been a crisp beer.
He's had it either in a cooler or refrigerated.
And that's good and Tom, I applaud you for that, because there's some people just throw it in the back of their car. Oh, I put it in the back of my pickup truck. I'm like, great. And it's 98 degrees outside. By the time you get home, those cans are going to be hot. They're not going to be warm. Yeah. They're going to be hot.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
I'm just thinking about drinking a hot IPA right now and just
so peppery. But I think this is going to start becoming more and more of a thing. We've seen it. Sly Fox has their haze fix. Victory has their 12-ounce hazy. Blue Moon just came out with a 12-ounce New England.
I was going to say all those other breweries out there, like Mind Haze was another one. Yeah. Stone's doing it as well. Everybody's putting out 12-ounce hazies because people want something that's, like you said, easy to pack in a cooler. Coolers are measured by 12-ounce cans. They're not measured by 16-ounce. So don't think when it says holds this many cans, it's going to be all your hype beers and your fruited sours and stuff. But
what I'm getting at is you're going to start seeing, once you get these big breweries that are mass distributing these beers, there's a technique that goes along with that, and that kind of trickles down, Ronald Reagan trickle down theory down to the craft breweries, the smaller craft breweries, and you get that knowledge that, okay, well, we need to do this so it can sit on a shelf, or it doesn't have to necessarily go in a cooler.
It breaks my heart going to like a supermarket and seeing beers that I know aren't shelf stable, and just being like, why are you guys doing this?
And even picking them up and having to go,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, another part of it too, though, is also educating the retailer. Like one of the worst beers you could possibly leave out is a sour, because the sour can re-ferment in the can.
Yep.
And then basically you have these little CO2 bombs that blow up all over your brewery or all over your store. So, the other part of it, the other side of that equation is you're going to fight for refrigeration space, because there's less refrigeration space than there is shelf space at most beer stores. But at the end of the day, it's about the quality of your product. And if your product has to be cold, has to be kept cold, you have to tell the retailer you got to keep it cold. If I have to give up 2 SKUs to keep my stuff cold, fine, I'll do that, because it's gonna make the consumer's experience better at the end of the day.
Dan's over here trying to figure out a way to live in that glass.
I know. I just want like a wall plug-in of just this scent that I'm getting off of this beer.
A Glade Slammer plug-in. There we go.
I need a Slammer plug-in for my Febreze wall unit.
So, and you guys were commenting earlier on the can. The can. We have a guy that designs all of our can artwork. He's actually down in Florida, and he actually has a clothing line called Slack Tide. Believe it or not. That's kind of how we found him. And he came up with this idea. For those of you that are
that's nice,
fishermen, a slammer is a big blue fish, right?
Yep.
So basically we said to him, we need you to make a can with a big blue fish on it, but make it look cool.
But make it a 12-ounce can.
And make it a 12-ounce can. And he came back with this hop, the blue fish in the shape of a hop that's divided up 3 ways, and you stack 3 cans, and it makes the whole fish. And it's really cool. It's one of our favorite cans. So, it's very recognizable. But and Slammer has a double entendre. I mean, it's a very easy drinking beer,
crushable, yeah.
After a fish, so you kind of throw it all together. It is what it is.
I remember on our test stream, I like down 2 of these in like probably an hour, and I like put the cans together. I'm like, Tom, check it out. They're good. They put together, man.
When we first launched it, we had our marketing guy made a video of the cans, and it literally looked like the cans were swimming across the bar. I have no idea how he did it.
Stop motion, yeah.
But it was pretty cool.
Dan, final thoughts on the beer?
I'm a huge fan of this beer, and I'm happy that it's going to be coming into Pennsylvania. Echoing what we've talked about over the last 45 minutes, is just, breweries that are bringing great beers like this into Pennsylvania just makes me happy, because it makes it more available for me. So
I like it.
This beer, perfect. I would say tropical on the nose, agreed. And it kept that throughout the entire lifespan since August. And then just the notes on the palate and the taste, getting a little bit more peppery bitterness, a little pininess on the taste. It the tropical notes on the palate subdued a little bit, still there, but brought up a lot more of the bitterness, which I like as an old school IPA drinker. I've been an IPA fan, since I started drinking craft beer. So I really enjoy this beer. It's one of my favorite. And
it sounded like ... It's one of my favorite.
I'm like, it's one of my favorites. I don't know what else to say. I'm just clamoring over it right now.
Yeah, no, this is it's very enjoyable. I love this selection of the 12-ounce cans at the brewery, especially for taking back to the beach house.
Tom, the Marzen lagers in 6-pack 12-ounce cans too.
Oh my god! We're gonna have to drive down there. Huh?
Marzen.
Marzen. We got an education last week. It's pronounced Miertzen.
Yeah.
Miertzen.
I just sound like the Swedish chef when I try and say it. Yeah, I know. Every time I try and say it, it's like Miertzen.
No, I like you guys have a great selection of 12-ounce cans. Like I said, I would rather bring back a 6-pack of 12-ounce cans to the beach house than a 4-pack. But the Slammer, super approachable, nice, bright, tropical with just that hint of bitterness at the end. Really just like the Headboat. It's a well-rounded New England IPA.
Thanks, guys.
Agreed.
Yeah. Dan, we got about 20 minutes left.
Yes, we do. We do have one little extra beer, I guess, that you surprised me with.
Another beach beer.
Another beach beer.
Yeah, this is the one that my wife picked out. This was her
Did she like it?
Yeah. I forget, she had 2. I think she had the Hef and the
and this next guy that we're bringing.
Yeah, the Hef and the sour here, the Salty Sailor.
The Salty Sailor. All right.
Sailor.
Now this is what I feel like this is a beer that it's just all these flavors should be in a Goza. It should be a Goza should be salty.
Oh, this beer has some significance to the brewery as well. This is you know what? A lot of people do their anniversary beers and they do like a hazy because it's popular.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's our anniversary. We're going to do this. But it's awesome to see that you guys kind of did this. And I'll pull it up for you here on the screen and get this out.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
So the Salty Sailor, you guys brewed it in honor of your 3-year anniversary, which I had no idea.
Well, that was 2 years ago. But
okay. It's a margarita goza brewed with locally harvested sea salt from Windy Acre Farms and limes. This beer is tart, refreshing, and effervescent.
Yep. And the cool thing about that, about the salt from this beer, is that it's actually harvested from Townsend's Inlet.
Okay.
So for those of you who are familiar with Avalon and Sea Isle, that's the inlet that splits the two towns from the barrier island. And the farm that actually does that has some old greenhouses in the back that they have. Basically, they dry the water out and then they extract the salt from the ocean. So it's like super fresh. It has actually has a low sodium content compared to like other salts. I'm not sure how that all works out, but that's basically what's going on. And then we use key lime as the puree to make it a margarita goza. It's an extremely popular beer in the summer. People gravitate towards it. It is pretty crushable. And it also makes an incredible Cadillac margarita if you ever want to make one. Oh. You use the beer as the margarita mix. You add a little bit of tequila, a little bit of orange liqueur, shake it up, rim the glass. It's pretty banging.
I might do that. All right,
just jam it in there.
I'm gonna get a little crack here in 3, 2, 1.
You salty sailor, yeah.
Yeah, Townsend Inlet. You can grab a Salty Sailor and go down to a fantastic dog beach right on the Sea Isle side of the inlet. Great dog beach down there. Nice.
Great skate shop. Method Skate Shop's right there.
Yes, it is.
You can snag a Jones soda. Talk to Mark over there. God, I've been skating for that guy since Bridgeport, Pennsylvania, man. He's an awesome dude.
Get some ice cream over at
Nickelbee's. Yeah, Nickelbee's. Dude, you know what? For how like far away we are from Townsend's Inlet, we spend a lot of time in Townsend's Inlet when we were younger.
Well, last summer,
you were closer.
Yeah, we were up on 77.
Yeah,
which is odd because we're always in like the third, like mid to high.
I always like to call it ground zero of Sea Isle. It's like, dead center, like where all the bars are and everything.
Yeah. All right, Dan.
Cheers.
Sláinte. Yeah, no, this is a great beach beer.
I'm thinking about that Cadillac margarita right now.
This is
pretty good, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I'm thinking like a little bit of tequila bite with this beer. Ooh.
And the label looks like our buddy Ryan with his pit vipers.
Little Ryan from Warwick Farms. Actually, it looks like you said your brother.
It does look a little bit like my brother.
It does.
I don't want to say it's modeled after him, but he basically took on that look after Captain Salt. Well, there's we have another non-beer related version of that captain, and he kind of took on that resemblance. He's got a full beard, and he dresses up like him for Halloween every year.
Man,
that's great.
I want every brewery to send me like a dual photo so I can like guess which one's going to be the person that comes on the podcast. Because I was like, man, we should get a poll going and like put money down on which one answers the stream or which one pops up on the stream.
Well, I'll be honest with you. In full disclosure, my brother is not we use the term. I'm the rapper. He's the DJ.
Oh, okay.
He's not a very outgoing social guy. He doesn't really speak too much in public, but I have the opposite problem. I could talk the ear off a wooden Indian, and he could do whatever. So
you're the salt / peppa, and he's the Spinderella.
There you go.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, and we use that all the time. And it's funny, like even our regular customers know, like when Ted comes into the tasting room and he's in there and he's sort of holding court, everybody listens, because they're so used to me being in there holding court and him not coming in all the time. But once he gets to know you and he knows who you are, then he's probably one of the funniest people you've ever meet in your life. But he's not. He can't. He has a hard time public speaking. He could barely do the toast at my wedding. Put it that way.
Okay. All right. So what I really like about this beer is how approachable it is to a lot of people. For example, I brought this back to the beach house, and none of my family are craft beer drinkers. They're, my brother will drink an IPA here and there. But I can give this out and everyone's going to enjoy it because it doesn't taste like classic beer.
It drinks like a cocktail. Like he mentioned, like the Cadillac margarita. All I'm thinking is, man, I just want a little bit of tequila in there.
Uh-huh.
It drinks like a cocktail. It's tropical. It's summer in a can.
Yeah, it's like a virgin margarita, but it's not virgin.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And the interesting thing is when we actually did a series of cocktails with 4 of our beers right pre-COVID, right before COVID, the summer before COVID. So that would have been summer of 2019. And one of the beers that we did was Salty Sailor. And it's simple, like don't use a cheap tequila. Use at least a mid-grade to high-end tequila, an orange liqueur, and use the beer. You use the beer as the margarita mix. And you salt the rim. I'm telling you, man, here's why. Most margarita mix that you get is super sweet. Like it's too much sugar.
Yeah.
They want the bite of the lime to be down.
This is
a real margarita. They use real limes. So this uses real limes, but doesn't have the sweetness because of the salt and because they're key limes. So it ends up being a really, really good cocktail. And you don't get like that sweater feel on your tongue from drinking all the sugar.
Yeah. No, this has, there's a backbone to this, like sweetness that, yes, the salt is in there. And there's just a little bit of like, hey, this is like this is a beer. This is, something.
And if you're adding, it's not a high alcohol beer. It's only like a little over 4.5%.
Yeah.
But it has, but when you add a tequila to it, now you're basically doing a double. So,
yeah.
So it is what it is,
And a classic Goza is inherently salty.
Mm-hmm.
So adding you come to expect the salt to this, but I love the addition of the sea salt in it. And when you said the key lime puree, it doesn't drink like a pureed beer. When you think of a pureed beer, you think of like that, like you said, that like sweater mouthfeel.
That sweetness. That's just.
And this just comes through like it's almost like every can you squeeze the key lime into it.
I feel like South Jersey just nails the Goza. Like this is like my second Goza from that area. The K-May oyster Goza is just like it. Like you guys have nailed that like perfect like salt taste to like a Goza.
It kind of runs in our blood down here, man. So.
Yeah, I know. It runs in your blood. It's
salty folks down there.
Yeah, it's found in vehicles. That's why my dad says never buy a vehicle from South Jersey.
Because they're probably all rusted out. But yeah, the other thing that I would also say too is we did a collaboration with 8 and Sand. I don't know if you guys are familiar with 8 and Sand.
Yeah.
We did one with them this summer, which is basically the lemon version of this beer. Cool. Now, it wasn't originally designed to be that. They wanted to do a Goza with local sea salt, so they used the same sea salt, but they used Meyer lemons in it instead of the limes, and that was exceptional. I mean, it was really good, and it was called Sand and Tide. I don't know how much of it they have left, but it was super good, and it was a collab between them and us, and we're going to do another collab with them probably in the winter, January, February timeframe. We'll do a darker beer or something wintry, but that beer was really good too. So I tell people, like, if you like the lime, try the lemon. So
okay, yeah,
I like that. It's about time to wrap up. Do you have Jason? You have a little bit of time to do some bonus time?
Sure, I got nothing to do.
Right.
I'm going to go home and watch TV when this is over. So
actually, we have one question here. Farkas is back. He wants to ask: was there lime zest used in this?
No, not lime zest. It was just key lime puree.
Okay. Oh, cool.
All right, I like it. All right, so we're going to go to bonus time. We do bonus time on our live streams. If you're an audio only listener,
sucks to be you.
Yep, you're missing out. This is what you miss out on when you don't get on the live stream with us. So we're going to wrap up here. Jason, thank you for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me.
Taking the time. Guys, you'll be remiss if you don't make the trip down to, I mean, I'll say it. If you don't make the trip down to Sea Isle, I mean, Sea Isle, it's the best beach on the East Coast. But when you're down in Sea Isle, you go out Sea Isle Boulevard, go up to Gleason's, make a right on 9, bing, bang, boom. You get down. What's
make the most Delco directions.
Here's the best thing to do. Put it in your Google Maps, 1072 Route 83. Unit number 3, Cape May Courthouse, New Jersey, is Slack Tide Brewing Company.
No, don't even do it.
You're like Delco MapQuest.
Go at Seattle Boulevard out to Gleason's.
That's true. Gleason's going to be right, Tom. It's literally like a left and a right. It is. Yep. Actually, it's a left and a right. It's a left and a right out of Sea Isle to get there. But it's on Route 83, 1070
down to 83. Bing bang boom. You're there.
Yeah, and when we move to our new place, which is only 0.8 of a mile away, it's going to be a
stone's throw away.
You'll just have to turn left, and you're there. You don't have to turn right again.
When you're on your way out of Sea Isle, and you stop at Slack Tide on your way out, because that's the correct way to go out. Don't go out the Garden State Parkway to
55, baby, all day.
Exactly. Thank you. It's the correct way to go. You go by, pick up some Slack Tide beer, bring it back to you in your cooler. Bring a cooler. We've learned that on this episode. Bring a cooler. You're gonna go down a little bit. You're gonna see a big vacant lot, and it's gonna have a sign outside that says the future home of the bigger Slack Tide.
Yep.
When's that gonna go up?
We hope to be breaking ground late November, early December of this year. It's going to take about a year to build the building, so figure early 2023 will be over there. But we'll be in our current location until that opens up. So,
and head over there. It's a great little brewery. I mean, I say it's it's physically little, but I mean, you guys are cranking out beers. You have a ton of, like I mentioned, you have a ton of beers on your menu. It's a great tap room. You sit out back in your gravel area.
In the We Are Not Okay Corral. That's what we call that.
Okay. I like that.
Sounds like such a My Chemical Romance.
But yeah, hit up Slack Tide. Like he said, there's nine breweries?
Soon to be 10, but there's 9 breweries in Cape May County right now. Yes.
It's literally like a 10-minute drive between you and Ludlam. You can get the best of both worlds there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah. Like you said, that whole area, like the Cape May County, like Dennis area, just is saturated with great breweries and distilleries too. So, head on down there and check them all out, guys. On, I guess just go through the plugs. You got slacktidebrewingco.com. Check out their website. Slack Tide Beer on Facebook, and you guessed it, Slack Tide Beer on Instagram. Even check them out here on Untapped, I guess, at Slack Tide Brewing Company.
All right, so guys, that'll wrap it up for this stream. I don't even know, what do we do for I don't have any plugs. Dan, you have any plugs?
No plugs. Do you guys have anything like coming up? Any events that you guys are doing?
Well, tomorrow night we're going to be at Stingers on the Waterfront in Ridley Park for our happy hour launch into Pennsylvania.
So that's tonight. If you're an audio only listener,
audio only listeners. So tonight,
this will be out Wednesday morning. So that's tonight. Head down to Ridley Park.
Head on down to Stingers.
Yeah,
that sounds like a bar that people just get wrecked at.
Yeah.
Like head down to Stingers. I mean, Ridley Park, is that Delco?
Yeah.
Yes, it's
That's
Delco. It's right on the river too.
Heart of Delco. If I'm getting my GPS correct here.
Yeah. Ridley in a barrel.
So
Come
you're
on.
going to get some
Thanksgiving game.
You're going to get some Wooderoys. You're going to get some hoagies, and you're going to get some Slack Tide beer.
There you go.
There you go. What time's that event?
5 to 7.
I
know you're like Delco, like proper there for that.
I might stop by.
I don't know. Maybe make some posts on social media.
Maybe I might. We'll see what tomorrow brings.
I don't know.
I might make it.
That's a story. Hang out.
Are you going to be over there, Jason?
Yes, both my brother and myself and about 4 or 5 of our employees are going to make it up there, and we'll be representing.
All right,
do it, Tom.
I maybe have to make a trip out there. I don't work too far from Ridley.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. And for us, Dan, no plugs.
I don't have any plugs.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, you can follow us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram. That's it for.
I was gonna say Facebook, Instagram. Hell, our Gmail too is Best Friends Pod. That's Best Friends POD.
I feel so alive for the very first time.
I mean, you can go on YouTube and search Best Friends Pod. We're not cool enough to get the custom URL yet.
Oh, we can't.
No, still can't.
Lame.
But you can search Best Friends Pod. That's Best Friends POD.
No. I was gonna say for YouTube, you have to be the best Friends podcast in the world.
No,
you need the in there.
No.
Yeah, YouTube's lame.
I don't know. All right. Well, and then you guys join us, like I mentioned before, join us on Facebook and YouTube, and join us on Twitch as well for live streams.
We have Farkas keeping us alive on stream.
I know, right?
For Twitch. Everyone else is on the Facebook.
So Twitch, you can hop on twitch.tv/Best Friends Podcast. That's twitch.tv/Best Friends POD. Cast. So that'll about do it. Do we have anyone lined up for next week?
Do we?
Is Justin going to be on next week?
I don't know. We have a message from him. We'll talk. I guess we'll talk after it.
I don't remember. I'm so all over the place with scheduling.
Yeah, I was gonna say what I scheduled 2 weeks from now, so that's
okay. We got Harris family coming up, and
not Harris family. We have 2 locals.
No, 2 locals.
We have 2 locals coming up,
and that makes me seem really racist. God damn it! 2 locals coming up, and Dr. Brew Littles.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we confirmed with Jack.
We have not. It's not on the calendar.
I'll take a look. I think we have Dr. Brew Littles coming up. Another Jersey brewery.
Maple Shade.
Jersey.
Yeah. And outside of that, we're doubling up that week.
Yeah.
Things are happening. All right, let's get out of here. Dan, you know how I feel about you.
Yes.
I love you. Always have.
I thought you were going to say the boo one for a second. You know how I feel about you. Boo! Thanks, Tom.
All right, everybody. Just remember, it's not goodbye forever. It's just
Goodbye for now. I'm not the type to say I told you so.
all right, everybody. And always remember, in these trying times, that
why are you doing this, Tom?
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. That was the Clinton family.
It's so awkward.
Best Friends Podcast, episode 86?
87.
87.
We out.
See ya. All right. So we're done recording audio. We are in bonus time on the Twitch stream.
Okay. I didn't know if we had anything planned for bonus time.
No,
We didn't really talk about it.
So how did Slack Tide get started?
My brother and I I started out home brewing, and my brother and I sort of picked it up. We home brewed for about 5 years, and we would have people over the house. We would usually brew on Sunday. It was always like home brew and Eagles game.
Nice.
And then after about 3.5, 4 years of it, we started to realize that people were like, dude, your beer's really good. So we're like, thanks. So
I feel like we get that from a lot of brewers who like started home brewing. They have that.
It started in the garage, and we actually what we did was we sent out 50 6-packs to friends, family, people, acquaintances, some people we knew really well, some people we didn't know at all. And in the letter that we sent out to them, we said, listen, this is not a joke. We are really seriously considering opening a brewery. Please give us your unbiased opinion of this product. And one of the guys that happened to be on that list, unbeknownst to me at the time, was a BJCP certified beer judge.
Oh.
And he used to work with me at my old company, and he currently works at Dogfish Head.
Oh, okay.
And I went into the office one day and I said, Brian, let's just swap 6-packs. He gave me a 6-pack of his. I gave him a 6-pack of ours. And he says, listen, I'm going to grade this out. I'm going to get a buddy of mine to come over and do it, and we'll give it to you like it was BJCP. I'm like, okay, perfect. Like a week later, he comes back, and I'm reading the grades, and they're decent. I mean, they're not like off the charts, but they're really good. And I look at him and I go, Brian, not for nothing, but my brother and I are about to submit all of our paperwork to become a legal brewery in New Jersey. He goes, you should do it immediately. And I said, okay. So we submitted the paperwork. 18 months later, we were open.
Wow.
So
wow.
So are you from that area?
My brother and I grew up here. We were born in he and I were born in Westchester. My youngest brother was born down here. But I've lived
New York or
Westchester, PA.
Okay. Westchester.
Yeah, I've lived here since I was 3.
Okay.
Since I was 3. And my wife is from California. So after college, I eventually got a job. I moved out to California for 5 years. So I've kind of been all over the country. My old job had us traveling all over the country. So I've had beers from all over the place. And then when I came back to when my son was born, we decided to move back east, and we've been here ever since. So that's basically, I was able to get somebody to leave California for New Jersey.
Oh, jeez.
Not quite sure how that worked out, but it worked out pretty good. So
do you like
just go down the taxes in California?
Well, the funny thing is that she asked me, she goes, she hates cold, hates cold weather, hates the winter. And she said, do you get a lot of snow out there? And I said, no,
it's the beach.
Not really, not down the shore. And literally the day that she and her mom flew back here with our son, we had like 6 inches of snow. and she goes, I thought you said it didn't snow here. I said, it rarely ever snows here. So she got over it, but it is what it is.
Was that in 2004?
2003. It was 2003, 2004.
Okay. Because we remember, Dan, we did spring break in Sea Isle. We went to the Sea Isle house in our freshman year of college.
Oh yeah.
And it snowed
Yeah.
during our spring break. We're like, yeah, we're going to do spring break at the beach. And it's like, it's snowing. Nothing's open.
We get weird weather, man. We get the last couple of years has been really mild, but when we get a bad winter, it'll snow like through April down here. It all depends on where the weather currents line up. I don't know. It's totally whacked. But the other funny sort of family story about my wife and my mother-in-law is my mother-in-law was out here for Hurricane Sandy.
Okay.
She came out to visit, and she's from Oklahoma originally and then moved to California. So she's had tornadoes, earthquakes, and then a Category 5 hurricane. So she's pretty much lived every natural disaster there is. So she's a freaking rock star. So
I'm gonna say Hurricane Sandy is what effectively kicked me out of Sea Isle.
I was going to say that's the Sea Isle house.
Yeah, so I my family had a house in Sea Isle, and it was one of those old 1930s houses. Not on the stilts or anything. One of those ones that actually had a backyard. It had
white picket fence.
Yeah, I always like to say it had character. You know,
Sure.
it wasn't
I
one
know,
of those
I know exactly what you're talking about, Dan.
exactly.
There was a yard to play cornhole in.
Yeah, I mean, we had a yard. It was beautiful, and Hurricane Sandy just ruined that for us.
Yeah.
I bet.
Our free ride effectively ended then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess we're not going to the beach anymore.
Well, not for free.
Yeah, not for free.
Yeah, Sandy was rough.
Yeah. So what year was it that Slack Tide started?
We opened December of 2015.
Okay.
So it'll be 6 years in January.
Nice.
We typically do. We're hoping to open the new place in January, February too. Only because it gives you time to work out the kinks before the mad rush comes.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that plays out. But we've always tried to open in the off season just because you can sort of have a series of soft openings to work out all the kinks before you have masses of humanity come down. But it's been a pretty cool ride, man. Like I worked 2 full-time jobs for 2 years when we first opened, and then when I quit a regular day job, and now my brother and I just sit here and look at each other and go, man, our job is to make people happy. So that's what we do. We make people happy.
So what was your past life before you were?
I was a project manager for a company that did trade show exhibits and museum interiors. So like all the casework, interactives. One of my biggest clients was the Franklin Institute.
Okay.
So I would do stuff in there to, I did some work for Longwood Gardens, a bunch of other places, but I did that for 15 years. There was a lot of travel, a lot of stress. And, if you can work for yourself, it's a pretty rewarding experience. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
And making beer and
making beer and making people happy. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
That's a good way to be living life at the beach.
Yeah, especially at the shore, like having a brewery in the summer at the Jersey Shore. Like I know it's got to be, like we said, batten down the hatches. I would say, for lack of a better term, could be a shit show sometimes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We have an expression at the brewery. If it's a rainy weekend, when it rains, we pour.
Oh yeah.
So basically, we will be one of the busiest days we ever had was a Labor Day like 2 years ago, and it rained the entire weekend. Like Saturday, Sunday, Monday was sunny, so everybody drove home on Monday because but it just poured for 2 days. It was pure bedlam here. It was bedlam. I mean, I don't know any other way to describe it. I mean, you're not going to sit in your camper in the rain. You're not going to sit on the beach in the rain. So they all just came here.
I imagine again, I've been in the tasting room. I would imagine that it would be, as I'd like to say, nuts to butts.
Yeah.
Oh, it was definitely, this was pre-COVID. Definitely pre-COVID.
Just people breathing on each other.
People spilled out into the parking lot. There were people sitting in their, on the tailgates of their cars. I mean, it was just, there was nothing else to do. It just rained for 2 days on a holiday weekend. I mean, you can go shopping. You can only go shopping so much before you're ready to blow your head off. So
there's only so many tchotchke shops you can go into.
Yeah. You can only go in so many Jamaican me crazies.
How many shell necklaces can you look at before it's time for a beer?
Yeah.
I don't need this. I don't need this 4th Sea Isle hoodie.
Who needs an airbrush to have that?
It's funny. I was just on our last beach trip. I was just telling my wife, one of my biggest regrets was, we always talked about doing it, was getting a summer job down at the beach and just living at the beach all
exactly.
All
yeah, never did that.
Never did
in
it
our youth.
Yeah, and it's such a regret. I saw like all these kids like working these summer jobs like in Sea Isle. I'm like, man, it was just, the house was there. We could have just easily just gotten any kind of bullshit job where we worked a couple hours just to make beer money,
and we never did it.
Never did it.
Well, you guys would have been, if you were younger, like if you were like, summer job age now, this past summer, people were dying for help.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy. You could have gotten a job anywhere.
But there's also so much stuff down there that's opening up that I'm like, man, why didn't I ever have this idea? Like, we stayed over 4th of July weekend. We stayed down by the the
Acme.
No, not the Acme. The big like hotel apartment type deal.
The Spinnaker.
Spinnakers, yes. We stayed down by the Spinnakers, and there was a soft pretzel factory, a Philly soft pretzel factory down there, and I was like, God damn it! Why didn't I ever think of do a franchise soft pretzel factory down there?
Like how you can tell that you made it is there's a Philly soft pretzel factory. Like
that's gangbusters. They were so busy.
I'm telling you right now, if you guys were, when you were kids down here, if you got a job at Uncle Bill's Pancake House,
or Uncle Ruby's delivering pizza,
or Mrs. Brizzle's Buns,
yeah,
any of that,
you're gonna kill it, man. You're gonna kill it.
Doc Mike's or Mike's,
any of them,
yeah. Doc Mike's or Mike's Doc. It had to be one of them.
Slinging pancakes or crap.
What's the one by the Townsend Inlet Yacht Club? The Sunset. Any of those breakfast places?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think it's called Sunset Pier.
Yeah, there's one that's
there's Sunset Pier, and then there's the deli too. That's like right on Landis.
There's the one that's attached to Nickleby's.
No, it's not attached, but it's like the next building over.
Yeah.
Places,
because think about it, there's only so many places to go on each of these islands for breakfast.
Yeah,
right? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Then breakfast tips. Nobody's doing math. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Nobody's doing math that early and that hungover.
No, they're just like, here's
yeah, exactly. Keep the change. I'm not doing this.
It's cash only. Breakfast was $8. I only have a $20
bill. Here you go.
I only have a 20 and an armband from La Costa. Keep the change.
I have a headache that would take down a king.
Yeah.
And I can't.
I've got $20 and an Ocean Drive stamp on my hand. Keep the change.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you're even up early enough to get to breakfast, if you've been at the OD,
you've been at the OD.
You might be at brunch for that.
I just woke up at the Carousel at the Springfield. Keep the change. R.I.P. the Carousel. It's no longer there.
The shell of it is there.
They tore it down. It's dead to me.
Yeah, it's still there.
It's dead to me.
Well, a lot of those places are getting
gussied up.
Costa's getting changed up. There's a lot of these.
They're finally going to change up La Costa.
It's changed. It's a coffee and ice cream and breakfast place.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, but I think they're going to turn it into something similar to like the Dunes. That is up. They're going to turn it into luxury condos.
Yeah, it's already right now. That's like I forget what it's called.
So you're telling me
the hotel at
La Costa.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So you're telling me I can't pick my friends up off the floor in the bathroom anymore and drag them back?
No, you still can for maybe one more year, but then it's going to become.
Well, there's an outside seat, like there's an outside bar area there. It's not. They gussied it up a bit, Dan. They.
It's not the original La Costa. Let's just put it that way.
The whole bar scene down there is just it's gotten a little more mainline.
It's a little bit more, I guess, domesticated.
No, there's no more places that you're not getting. I'm trying.
The OD still does stuff.
Yes.
You can still get Jello shots and Dollar Miller Lights at the OD.
Yeah, that's the place you're getting kicked out of.
Okay. So the OD is still doing Jaeger bombs.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only place that's still doing Jaeger bombs.
Yeah.
And maybe what's the place next door?
Shenanigans?
Yeah. I think they're still doing stuff too.
Even that's toned down a little bit.
Oh man.
Because like that whole area was like that was bedlam for a while.
Oh,
like,
it was crazy.
La Costa,
Dead Dog Shenanigans, and La Costa, and
OD,
and the OD. Yeah.
It was which bar haven't I been kicked out of tonight? That's the one I'm going to. Yeah, that was and then walking off the beach. I was trying to describe it to my wife, like just walking off the beach, sitting at the carousel, watching a Phillies game, drinking a Bud Light Lime. Like that was like every day we were down there. Get up, go down the beach at like 11, sit on the beach, dick around for a while, and go back and watch the Phillies game. Go sit at the carousel and watch the Phillies game.
God, I missed the carousel.
Yeah.
We had a lot of good times there.
Yeah. Yep.
Even the Deauville got all gentrified.
The Deauville is gentrified now? Oh, see, that's... Oof.
It's all gentrified, man. It's all bad. It's
The Deauville? I never thought the Deauville would go.
Dude, they even kicked Avalon Coffee out. Avalon Coffee's gone.
Avalon Coffee's gone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, Avalon Coffee's gone from the Sea Isle, but they're everywhere else.
yeah, I was gonna
Right,
say
right,
I got some in Cape May.
That's what I mean. There's no places down there to like go and grab a bagel.
Oh, dude, I went down to Avalon Coffee in Cape May, and I beat, I guess, the person who was supposed to open Avalon Coffee because he was hungover. So like I was like sitting there, I like walked up to the front door and like it said it was open, but I pulled it and it was locked. And the guy behind me is like, "God damn, sorry, man."
Don't tell my boss, please.
And there was some guy just like baking in there. He was like, "I was wondering when you're going to open that."
The Avalon Coffee that's actually in Avalon is still pretty good. They do.
Oh man, I love
They make
Avalon
good
Coffee.
breakfast sandwiches, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's there's like Shoobies and stuff down in Seattle, but Avalon Coffee was a place to go. Get a bagel, schmear.
Oh, schmear.
Yeah, and a coffee.
Oh no, I get the Taylor ham, egg, and cheese.
Pork roll.
It's pork roll, egg, and cheese.
Thank you.
Yeah, whatever.
Shut up, Dan.
No, but
Pork roll.
it's Taylor ham pork roll.
Yeah, I guess you call it a Kleenex and a Band-Aid and a Q-tip.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's get Jason out of here. Jason,
Yeah, thanks a lot for this, man.
Thank you for taking the time for this.
Thanks for having me, man. It was a great time. I always enjoy talking about the shore, so it's always good. And
Hell
beer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
Beer in
so
Jersey.
guys, thank you for joining us on stream. We'll catch you next. Do we have anything?
Actually, I just solidified next week for us. Don't worry about it.
Okay, wait, Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Are we getting pumpkin-y?
We might be.
All right.
Don't worry, I got this.
All right. I'm gonna put my tights and my Uggs on.
Oh no, we're talking we're talking costumes for the stream.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, so spooky season, guys. We're gonna get dressed up for something.
Help me, guys. Help me. All right. We'll see you all next week. All right.